Hey, welcome to episode 2, and part 2 of our 3-part pilot. Parts 2 and 3 came in a little bit short, which is part of the reason that we're releasing them so close together, provided you're listening to these as they come out. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Anyway, as explained in part 1, sound quality gets a lot better in part 4 when our recording setup gets a lot better. Let's do it.
Hey!
Paisanos, it's the
Excuse me, princess.
Super Show!
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Excuse Me Princess Super Show. I'm Aaron.
I'm John, and we're watching the entirety of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and The Legend of Zelda in air date order.
And today we are watching episode 2.
The live action segments are called Day of the Orphan, and the animated episode is King Mario of Cramalot. Now, last time you expected that would be some sort of Camelot pastiche, and you were right. You also expected the live-action thing to be about the Mario Brothers' origins as orphans in Brooklyn. You weren't right.
I definitely was not. And I know in the last episode we watched the series, or we talked about everything first. We cut from the intro, watched the series.
Episode.
We didn't watch the entire series?
Not yet.
Oh. Well, it is 3 o'clock in the morning now, so I am a little tired and hallucinated through the last one. However, we changed the format for this one to kind of swing it up a bit. We watched the episode beforehand this time, and now we're going through with our podcast review and everything else that we need to do. Before we start, I just want to remind everyone that you can watch the episode either on Amazon Prime. However, if you do not wish to use Amazon Prime, do not have a Prime Video account, you can also watch it on
the official Wild Brain YouTube channel, where they've legally uploaded episodes of all of their old Deke shows, including this one. We'll get into the details now. Episode 2, King Mario of Cramalot. Original air date, September 5th, 1989. And we didn't mention this so well in the last episode, but we'll do it here. The original airings of all these shows included cover songs of popular music at the time, which have all been long since scrubbed due to copyright issues. But according to our information, this originally had a cover of Bad at one point in it. Anytime you're watching this show and you see an extended fight sequence with Mario music in it, that probably is where the cover song was.
And thanks once again to the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ on YouTube, we have that cover for you. So enjoy this episode's cover of Bad, originally by Michael Jackson. Link in the description below.
Trying to fly the coop. Hey, Koopa! I'm bad. I'm bad. Come on up. No, I'm bad. I'm bad. Huh? Thanks, Koopa. No, I'm bad. This dueling has made me work up quite an appetite. You know. And the whole world has answered right
There! That's the last of those grimy green good-for-nothings.
Oh! And I'm bad. I'm bad. And the whole world has answered right now.
So Aaron, how did you... We'll start with the live action segment. Day of the Orphan. You want to run through a quick breakdown?
Well, after Luigi loses a chess match to an electrician, power lineman.
I think so. Some guy in a hard hat sticking out of a manhole named Edison.
So after the doorbell rings of their Brooklyn apartment, and they open it up to find Orphan Patty, who unfortunately has no parents, and it's her birthday today, and all she wants is a birthday party with balloons, streamers, and a big screen, high definition, color TV.
And a VCR. You gotta dole out the money for that VCR. The Mario Brothers pool their resources to throw the little orphan the party of her life. But before long, she starts to get pretty pushy. Before long, she starts to get pretty pushy with her demands. And it's pretty clear that something is amiss, as if it wasn't already from the laugh track, when the doorbell rings again.
Who could it possibly be? Solicitors? Lawyers? King Koopa himself?
Wow, early bird cameo by King Koopa. No, it's Patty's parents. The whole thing's a scam. Apparently this isn't the first time she's gone to people's houses, claimed she had no parents, and tried to bilk them out of stuff. After a half-hearted apology to the Mario Brothers, they decide to not let the party go to waste and just consider it for a happy family reunion.
Showing once again that fraud always pays.
With no negative consequences.
There isn't really any moral stories in this show, is there?
Well, not in the live-action segments. They're pretty much just sketch comedy shitposts. The best kind of shitposts.
So, good old-fashioned pre-YouTube poop.
Pretty much. Which is ironic considering the fate this show would have. Before we get into the animated one, we'll go into the guest stars for the live-action segment. Main one, of course, being...
Danica McKellar, who played Patty the Orphan. She, at that time, was known for her role as Winnie Cooper in The Wonder Years, and currently voices... the most recent thing we care about is Miss Martian on Young Justice.
Where the hell? I had the page with the guy in the IMDb and...
Jim Ward.
Yeah, okay. Patty's father is played by venerable TV vid actor Jim Ward. He's been playing single episode roles in cartoons for decades now. He's probably most famous to more modern audiences as news anchor Chechu Betcha in Fairly Odd Parents. And for things that we've watched most recently, he's actually played Commissioner Gordon in the two Adam West and Burt Ward animated Batman movies that came out most recently.
Go ahead.
That's alright.
As for the mother, she was played by Karen Hartman, who was in 61 episodes of Zoobly Zoo. No idea what that is.
But that's an impressive number of episodes.
However, what's more impressive is she has switched from acting to being a playwright after getting her Master of Fine Arts from Yale, and is currently the artist in residence for University of Washington School of Drama.
Dang, that's moving on up. We'll think of a cleaner transition for this another time, but let's get into the cartoon. What the people care about.
So,
King Mario of Cramalot, written by Perry Martin, who doesn't have too many writing credits to his name. A few more episodes of this, some episodes of Cops, some Captain Planet, lots of contemporary shows. Then he eases off into writing direct-to-video horror movies. So look forward to those. I'll start with the synopsis. The Mario Brothers, Princess Toadstool and Toad, are exploring the... Oh my god, I'm really bad at this.
well,
You did the other one, so that's why I'm doing this.
Do you want me to give this a shot?
No, it's alright, just give me one more go. The Mario Brothers, Princess Toadstool and Toad, have entered the kingdom of Cramalot, hoping to enlist the aid of Mervyn the Magician in the battle against King Koopa and to free the princess's people from King Koopa so that the Mario Brothers can eventually make it back to Brooklyn. Unfortunately, by the time the Mario crew have arrived there, Koopa's already taken over and crowned himself the new king of Cramalot. Fortunately, Mervyn the Magician shows them a golden bathtub with a golden plunger sticking out of it in the middle of the kingdom.
There's an innuendo there.
Yeah. Whoever can pull the plunger will be the actual king of Cramalot, because it's Camelot and there's a sword and a stone thing going on. Mario, of course, does it. And,
Koopa almost immediately steals it away from him.
yeah, he just shows up. He's like, no, take it back or the princess is getting speared by Jeff Bezos. Flying Jeff Bezos. Some BEZOS enemies from Mario 2, the little flying bees with the forks. So he gives them... Mario surrenders the plunger, allowing Koopa to crown himself king, but before the Mario Brothers can be crushed in a cliche with a dungeon with a spike trap...
And water flooding.
Yeah, to drown them like rats. Mervyn the Magician shows up, saves them, and takes them to a magical lake, where presumably a lady of the lake chucks a golden plumbing snake at Mario.
It's only a hand that you can see, but
Yeah,
it could be a lady hand.
we all know the story.
Yes.
The disembodied hand of the lake gives Mario a golden plumbing snake, Excalibur. They didn't even come up with a funny name for it, it's just Excalibur, which turns him into Super Mario and lets him lead the charge against Koopa in the battle to retake the kingdom, which of course they do. Defeated and outnumbered, Koopa throws one of those Warp Zone potions from Mario 2 and gives the first of many uses of his catchphrase, "He who coops and runs away lives to coop another day."
No longer a spoiler.
No. Mario is almost Mario is nearly crowned king of Cramalot for defeating Koopa, but upon learning that he'd have to lose weight and stop eating pasta, he heads for the hills and everyone else just sort of laughs. And that's it. Nobody pays attention to Mario's attempted treason of abandoning Princess Toadstool before accomplishing any of their goals. Just, no, I'm gonna be king. It's a Mario turn to be king.
I've always wanted to rule a kingdom. Is this the descent of Mario?
In episode 2, Slippery Slope. Also, this is, for the meme lovers out there, this is the origin of the clip where Luigi says, "I'm having a baby." So how did you like this episode, Aaron?
I actually remembered this episode watching it as a kid. I don't remember much of anything, but as we were watching it, I kept on remembering it, like, what was the next thing to happen? It's kind of predictable anyways, because it's Camelot. We know what's happening. Everyone's heard the story.
Yeah.
And
we watched Merlin on the CW. Stunned silence. Oh, come on, it was like Smallville, but worse.
Yes. Or other shows, like Lancelot. I don't know.
What was that one where they were like Robo Knights of the Round Table with Lego plugs in their shields?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it rings a bell, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, what about... I think it would be years after this, but what about Quest for Camelot?
Yes. I do remember Quest for Camelot.
Congratulations, you're one of the only ones.
Which is weird.
I really like this episode, too. It has a good flow to it. The animation errors aren't as abundant outside of Toad still being miscolored. He'll eventually get his inverted colors corrected. There was one memorable moment where after Toad closes his mouth, the top of his mouth stays at the top of his mouth and looks like a weird nose. There's also lots of the usual characters' mouths aren't moving when their lines start. You know, the sort of thing that happens when you crank out 52 episodes of a cartoon in 1 year's worth of production time. You don't get a lot of time for retakes. Somebody's got to pay Danica McKellar?
McKellar.
Somebody's got to pay Danica McKellar for showing up. So instead of just prattling on about these things, I guess maybe we should, do we want to give them a kind of a review score?
You know what? Yeah, let's give them,
Well, each of us will give it an out of 10.
yes. How many pizza phones are there out of 10?
I'm going to give this, and we'll do it just for the cartoon, not the overall thing, because they're so separated.
Yes.
I'm going to give Mario of Cramalot, King Mario of Cramalot, I'd say a solid 6.5 pizza phones out of 10.
And I would have to agree with you. 6.5 pizza phones out of 10 for just quality content. 8 out of 10 pizza phones for the fact that I actually remember it. Weird
Excellent.
nostalgia. As for the pasta power count,
That hasn't gone up. No pasta power in this episode.
plumber power, maybe. Pasta power, none.
Yeah. Pasta puns, innumerable, which is why we're not even bothering to count them.
We'd be at 37. Probably not, but that's my guess.
The only notable addition to the voice cast is previous additional voice Robert Boxstale as Mervyn the Magician. He doesn't do much voice work outside of additional voices on tons of cartoons of the era. This is the first episode where Mario is able to turn into Super Mario without the use of a Fire Flower or Starman. We don't have any correspondence from the previous episode because we're recording these well in advance. But if we do get some, we'll drop it in. If you want to get in touch with the show, we're available on Twitter at ExcuseMeSupShow, because Super Show is too long.
Too long.
Too long, yes. 2 characters too long or 2 characters too short. You can also email us at excusemesupershow@gmail.com. And of course, leave comments on the YouTube version of this episode. Give us a rating on Spotify or whatever podcatcher you watch this on. Unless it's a negative rating, in which case, why don't you sleep on it and think about it?
And another way to communicate with us is smoke signals. We might not respond back, but at least you'll feel good doing it.
Yeah. 420. This is stupid and we'll cut it. So, yes. My partner on the other side of the screen has updated the Google Docs to remind me now it's time to do our preview for the next episode. Okay, here we go. In second. In Wikipedia, Wiki ads, Jesus Christmas. That's how you can get a hold of the show. Our next episode is going to be episode number 3. We'll do our predictions now, your predictions. The live action segment is going to be called All Steamed Up.
So, my prediction, the boiler in the apartment breaks down, steaming them out, requiring the fire department to come and save the day for Mario and Luigi.
Any predictions on who the 80s celebrity guest star will be?
David Bowie.
I thought you were going to say Dean Stockwell. I don't know why I thought you were going to say Dean Stockwell, except that I know you used to like Quantum Leap. He was the guy who wasn't Scott Bakula.
I know who he was. I was just remembering slowly.
That's fine.
The gear was skipping.
I want to go to bed. Okay. Butch Mario and the Luigi Kid is the episode of next week's cartoon. Or next episode's cartoon. Technically tomorrow's cartoon.
So, obviously, porno tie-in. Or a western.
A western porno tie-in.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to guess some sort of Butch Cassidy parody. But something tells me they won't ambiguously die at the end.
You sure about that?
I guess it depends how ambiguously. Well, we'll see if any of those predictions come true next time. And until next time,
Do the Mario! Swing your arms from side to side.
Hello, I'm Aaron from the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, or the Excuse Me Sup Show if you are following us on X, formerly known as Twitter. And I'm here to let you know that you have finished part 2 of our 3-part pilot. This part, known as Speared by Flying Jeff Bezos'. This ad is brought to you by Aaron the Travel Plan Man. He'll take you from coast to coasters. Who is Aaron the Travel Plan Man? That's easy. It's Aaron from the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, or Excuse Me Sup Show if you're following us on X, formerly known as Twitter.
You can also find Aaron the Travel Plan Man on TikTok and Facebook. If you need help planning your travels, trust no one other than Aaron the Travel Plan Man. With that bit of knowledge, John and I are going on a trip to California from the cold Arctics of Canada in November. We are going to be hitting up Universal Studios, which is our main goal, for Super Nintendo Land, where we will ride the rides, play the games, observe the land, but we won't eat the food as, like Mario in the new movie, I cannot stand mushrooms. We will also be hitting up Disneyland to experience Galaxy's Edge from Lightsaber Building to Oga's Cantina, Adventures Campus, Pixar Pier, and so much more. With all of that, we should have a special episode, at least about Super Nintendo Land, as no other podcast has ever done something like that before. But, if you really want to follow the fun, John and I will be doing a small series on TikTok under the Coast to Coasters Aaron the Travel Plan Man tagline, where we go through and tell you what we thought of different rides. Myself, as someone who's been to Disney multiple times, and John, as someone whose only interest in Disney has been the Galaxy's Edge Outpost. Until next time, do the Mario.